Hello. Hi, everyone. Naka here to make the invisible visible. Comment if you're here. Looks like a few people are here. Just going to go ahead and say, please like this video. That definitely will help the algorithm to push my video out. I have some notes, as you guys know, and thankfully no technical difficulties this time. All right, so I'm just going to jump right in. And feel free to leave your comments. Before I get started, sorry, I'm lying. I'm not jumping right in until I say that I will be live again next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. So I'm going to be talking about body trends, very, very juicy topic. So please do join me if you want to know what is going on with Black women and our bodies. That's next week. And if you feel compelled, feel free to super chat me or drop a super sticker in the chat. Also, my Cash App is my first and last name. So please do donate to my channel. I am a one-woman show, Black owned and operated. So any donations I would highly appreciate. And also I want to plug, hey, Practical Fitness, good to see you here. I want to plug my website. So if you guys go to nakaonolafor.com, and if you scroll to the bottom of the first page, the home page, if you're able to put your email, it just says something like join my community. If you drop your email and just hit send, that's all you have to do. Very simple. I will put you on my personal email list. And then when I have events, in-person events, virtual events, you will get an invitation. And you'll also get emails from me every now and then. I don't do all the spamming and all that type of stuff. So again, if you are able to do that, nakaonolafor.com, I can actually put it, well, I think you guys can see my name somewhere. It's literally nakaonolafor.com, but I can put it in the chat if you need me to. And like I said, scroll to the bottom, put your email right in there. And like I said, I can keep up with you because I'm going to be talking today about YouTube as well as Kevin Samuels. But one of the things you guys should know is that I have 10,000 subscribers, right? But YouTube is the platform. And so if anything, if YouTube ever decides to shut me down, I lose access to all of you. And so a really smart content creator will actually be collecting emails of those who they want to keep in touch with. So it's, I don't know how to say this, but hello. I'm not sure how to say it's RIDDICK. Good to see you. Pita Diva, hey. And Cigars with Mac, hi there. Data, yes. Expound upon that, but I think I get what you're saying. All right, so let me jump in here. And I'm going to start with a quote by Kevin Samuels. And the quote says, sorry, let me move this a little bit. The quote says, you have to be intentional about what you want in life, and then you have to put in the work to get it. That is a quote by Kevin Samuels. And so I know there was some noise about this in my community tab. Some people believe that I should not be talking about Kevin Samuels. They believe that I should be letting him rest. However, I have a different opinion about that. I think that, Kevin Samuels really did change a lot of things, particularly for Black YouTube and for Black people in general. And so I think that I would be remiss not to talk about someone who had such a major impact on this platform. And hey, Danny. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Danny, for joining my community on my website. So yeah, I think that there's a lot that hasn't been said. And so just so you all know, this is not, I have no intentions on disparaging Kevin Samuels. I have videos. I actually have a couple of videos on my channel if you care to go back. I have my opinions and I have my criticisms about him and his work. But I think that what makes a good leader and what makes someone who's a rational person is to be able to see multiple sides. And I've actually given this some thought. So in no way am I walking back anything I've said in the past. but I just want to highlight some things that I think people don't really think about when it comes to Kevin Samuels. So this video will be not exclusively about Kevin Samuels, but I will be, weaving a lot into this conversation. Farouk Thomas, hey, from Florida. Okay, nice. If you guys feel free to drop where you're from, or where you live, I should say, where you live. I'm in Maryland. I'm in Silver Spring, Maryland. All right, like the video, please. That's going to help me when this thing goes out into the YouTube universe. I want people to see it, so please like it. All right, so I'm going to start with, and I want this to be, just real quick, I want this to be, you guys probably know more about Kevin Samuels than I do. So I want this to be an engaging conversation. So please do, whatever feel free to make as many comments as you can, because yeah, I'm kind of excited about this here. So, all right, so I'm gonna start with this. And this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, is because at the time when Kevin Samuels was big, I wasn't on YouTube. So now that I'm on YouTube and my channel is growing, I'm starting to see things from a different perspective. And so I want to start by saying that Kevin Samuels, arguably, I mean, in terms of his platform, when he passed away, I believe he had 1.4 million subscribers to his channel. So Kevin, I'm going to be sharing some statistics in a moment, but just so you all know, that is extremely rare. So if you look in the chat or in the description of this video, you'll see a link that I put there, so you can, if you care about, I'm a total geek when it comes to YouTube statistics and data. So I know Cigars with Mac, you mentioned data. I'm a geek, so you guys may not care about this, but the video is about how most people who do YouTube, most people who attempt to do this, they fail. And by that meaning their channel just never takes off, right? So I just want to put it into context that when Kevin Samuels passed, he had 1.4 million subscribers. He now has more than that, but that is major, right? And of course, I would not have understood the magnitude of that had I not been doing YouTube myself. So I just wanted to start with that. DJ Big INF, thank you, from New York. Practical Fitness, YouTube shouldn't be able to interrupt influencers' impact at their own whim. Yes, good point. But you know what? Practical Fitness, I have to be very careful about what I post, and YouTube will shut people down for certain things. I mean, thankfully, I haven't had anything like that, but sometimes you just never know what's going to get flagged. So again, just to plug my website, if you guys can go on and put your email at the bottom of the page so I can keep up with you. Emex, hello. Oh, wow. So real quick, I know it's Emeka from London. My brother, he passed away some years ago. He was 4 years younger than me. His name was Emeka. So we called him Emeka. That was like the African-American, Black American version, but thank you for being here. Kevin Samuels was the GOAT. And then Eric is saying, okay, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Welcome, everybody. All right, so here's the thing. So I'm actually going to be doing a video called, what am I going to, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but it's basically going to be about how I found out about the manosphere in the red pill community. So I'll save that for a very juicy video about the time that I first discovered that the manosphere and the red pill was even a thing. And it was actually a guy that I was dating who was part of it, and he was hiding it. So, but what I want to say here is that if I've asked Black men, so Black men in my life who I respect, who I care about, I have asked them, and this is when Kevin Samuels was alive, and I would be like, hey, there's this guy on YouTube. These are the things that he talks about. And most Black men, whether they knew who he was or not, whether they followed him or not, most of them would say, he's kind of right. He makes some good points. So I'm highlighting the fact that even though, of course, many Black women have a lot of criticisms about the things that Kevin Samuels said and did. And even me, I have my own criticisms, right, which I'm reserving for the purpose of this video. But most of the Black men, again, who I love and respect, have said that he's mostly right. Now, granted, they haven't necessarily agreed with everything that Kevin Samuels said, but some of Kevin Samuels' main points, they have agreed with. And these are men who didn't even know him. They just heard of him. They were like, oh, well, if he's saying that, then that's kind of true. So why I'm bringing that up is, as a Black woman who has a Black man in her life, so if you are a Black woman and you have a Black man in your life who you respect and care about, it is going to be really hard to sort of argue against a lot of Kevin Samuels' points, because most men, I've come to realize that most men seem to agree, most Black men seem to agree with many of Kevin Samuels' points. And that is a big factor, right? Like, if you're a Black woman and you're, you know, if you have all of these disparaging things to say about Kevin Samuels, but then some of the most important men in your life agree with Kevin Samuels, that's something you need to look at, right? And so I'm saying all this to say that even as a Black woman, even though I am in the population of women that Kevin Samuels would have probably criticized, right? Like, I'm a single mom, I am a plus size woman. So I know that, you know, he didn't always have the nicest things to say about women like me. But even with that, he still was right about a lot of what he said. And again, so I just wanted to highlight sort of how I have come to some of the conclusions that I've come to. All right. Now, what does this put me? My man put me on. Yes. Peta Diva. Dayton Moreland. Most single women don't like Kevin and shows why they're single. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you're saying it's crazy how men don't mind listening to what women want in a man. So men don't mind listening. That's interesting. Oh, Gino's here. Hey, Gino. Thanks for being here. I asked Gino to be here. By the way, Gino has been following me since the very beginning. So shout out to you, Gino. St. Louis, 46 years old. So yes, you guys are making some great points. All right, apologies, because I have my notes here. I don't want to go off on too many tangents today. So I want to talk about, again, how I came to some of these conclusions that that I've come to is, some of you have come to me from my viral video that's called "The Reasons Why So Many Black Women Are Single." And in that video, in the comment section, I'm always surprised that people are actually still watching that video, still commenting on that video. It's interesting how a lot of the women who comment on the video, many of them don't have the nicest things to say. And so I just think I still kind of go back to, how did I get here? You know, again, as someone who has, at this point, I have more male followers than female followers. Like, mostly, I think 77% of people who watch my videos are men, and probably mostly Black men. So I'm always trying to analyze that, because my channel is, I'm kind of speaking to Black women, but a lot of Black women who comment on my videos, many of them, and not so much that they say mean things to me, although some do, but a lot of them, don't have very nice things to say about Black men, and don't have very nice things to say about relationships in general. And it definitely shows the pain and the hurt in the community. And I'm not saying it's just women. I mean, men too. There are men also who don't always have, very nice things to say about Black women. But again, it just goes to show the need for more content like this, the need for more conversations. You guys, our community is hurting. And I already knew that, but reading the comments in the comment, and again, I wasn't able to read all of them because it's like thousands of comments in that video, but it let me know, it gave me qualitative data. It's like, oh, wow. A lot of the Black women said that I'm done with men. I'm over men. I don't want to be married. You're just a pick me, and I'm like, so I'm kind of getting firsthand the pulse of Black women in America. And like I said, I have my criticisms for men as well, but that's another video. All right, so Farouk, and I apologize if I'm saying your name totally wrong. I found that most Black women agree with Kevin Samuels if they remove themselves and looked at relationships for and from their son's point of view. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I can see that. Practical fitness. So I have a video called "The Reasons Why So Many Black Women Are Single," and it is I consider it a viral video because at the time I had 1,000 subscribers when that video went viral, which is now that video has about 377,000 views. So if you go to my channel, you can check that out. And again, if you read the comment section, it's like, whew, it's deep. It's deep. Gino, Kevin Samuels actually said plus size women and women with kids could still get men who are like them, working class men who are overweight and possibly fathers or single fathers. Okay, thank you, Gino. Dayton Moreland, most pain in relationships happens in their 20s. Okay, that would be true for me and some of my 30s. Gino is saying Kevin Samuels is all about marriage and men and women being your best self. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with the comments, but thank you for that. Okay, so yeah, and there's this other thing that I noticed, and it's kind of like, because I'm looking for like themes. So what are the themes that I'm seeing in the comment section of my videos? And a lot of times, a lot of Black women have this fear. There's a fear of that educated, successful Black women have, that somehow a man who is, I guess, maybe not on their same career level or educational level will take advantage of them. So I have seen that over and over in comment sections, women expressing an immense amount of fear, and immense amount of, I guess the only way I can describe it is fear and concern that, again, so when I talk about women having unrealistic expectations, the reason why they don't like that is because it's like, well, are you saying I need to, lower my standards? And if you're saying that I need to lower my standards, that's a problem, because then I'm going to get taken advantage of. Then someone's going to, use and abuse me, and I'm going to be left destitute with nothing. And I have seen that over and over. And so I'm not quite sure how to address that, but I'm just, highlighting that. So, okay. So, another thing I think is interesting, going back to Kevin Samuels, is that most of his subscribers, from what I've heard, were actually Black women, or at least most of the people who watched his videos were Black women. So even though he had a huge Black male following, he also had a huge Black woman following. So this is another, I think that Black women actually have a very complicated relationship with Kevin Samuels, because on the one hand, like I said, when he passed, it was, Black women, some of them were celebrating, right, which is not good. But on the other hand, many of his followers were Black women. And so you have to ask, why were Black women lining up night after night to get on his show? Nicki Minaj even, called in on his show. He had some I think a couple of reality TV stars who called in on his show, right? So it's a little somewhat contradictory in a way as a Black woman to kind of hate him, but then be like, oh, but I need to call him and see what he's gonna say. It's like, well, which one is it? So yeah, I wanted to highlight that as well. All right, so now real quick, I'm gonna just, do this periodically here. Before I read the comments, I'm gonna get to the comments. But again, please like this video. If you're in here, I'll be live next Thursday at 7 talking about body trends. So Black women and the way we feel about our body, Black women, and all the things we're doing to our bodies. So men, if y'all want to know what's happening, I would suggest you come to this, because I'm going to be spilling all the tea about what Black women are doing to our bodies. And if you feel compelled, again, feel free to donate to my channel via Cash App, or right here on this platform. There's a feature called Super Chat or Super Sticker. So, if you feel compelled, go to my website, nakonilfer.com, put your email at the bottom of the page so I can keep up with you off YouTube. And okay, let me check the chat and see what you guys are saying here. I might have to go back a little bit. Okay, Danny is saying what people fail to realize is he comes from the high value perspective. Most of us are normal and don't know how to realize when his points were about us and about not normal, right? High value people. See, I agree with that, Danny. I think you're actually spot on there, and that's why for me, I'm one of those people that I like to know both sides. I also, I don't try to always go with the crowd. Like if everyone's saying, "Oh, I hate him," I'm like, okay, well, let me hear what he's saying. And you're right. A lot of times it was him just trying to say, if you're average, then have average expectations, right? Like don't be an average trying to, be with like, a billionaire or, you know what I mean? Or like an athlete or somebody that might be out of the reach for an average person. So I agree. Now, of course, like I said, I'm reserving my criticisms. I didn't always like how he would go about delivering his message, but that's neither here nor there. Farouk is saying you are pronouncing it. Oh, okay. So it is Farouk. Okay, thank you. Practical fitness. The reasons why so many women. Okay. Did you finish your thought there? Practical fitness. If not, please finish your thought. Gino, some chicks I dated like Kevin Samuels. The BBWs mostly can't stand him. Yeah, that's true. I think mainly the women who were rejoicing when he passed were probably part of the BBW community. Riddick, J16, I'm probably saying that wrong. Successful men could say the same thing. Okay, and I'm sorry because I'm probably reading this out of context, so please provide more. And is it Qan? Please correct me. Oh, you're a young woman here. Various Black YouTube and any social media networks, because I'm attempting to reconnect my people and even Asian people. Blasians. Okay, you might need to put another comment there. I'm sorry, I'm not following what you're saying. Gino, I'll share after the live why you attract more males over. Oh, Gino, please, I would love to know. Please do. In fact, you don't have to wait till after the live, but if you prefer to. And then Charles, hi Charles. He helped me want to work towards getting a business. Wow, no American marriage. So Charles, are you trying to get a business out of the United States? Please say more. All right, so let me keep going here. Now, okay, and then this is where I'm going to kind of geek out, but over YouTube real quick. But I want to put it in perspective in terms of how rare Kevin Samuels was, right? Like I think oftentimes, and mind you, just like a year and a half ago, I wasn't on YouTube. I was just consuming videos. So I never thought about this, but now that I'm doing YouTube and I also have a business where I help other people get their YouTube started, I'm seeing things from a different perspective. So here's some statistics really quickly here. So you guys probably already know this, but YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. It's owned by Google, which is the number one search engine. So here's the stat that I love right here. 90% of YouTubers will never have 10,000 subscribers in the lifetime of their entire channel. I'm gonna read that again. 90% of YouTubers will never have 10,000 subscribers or more in the lifetime of their entire YouTube channel. Why does that matter? Guess how many subscribers I have, you guys? I have 10,000. I have a little over 10,000. So reading that stat let me know that I am in the top 10%, which is amazing. Kevin Samuels, again, had 1.4 million subscribers at the time of his passing. He now has, I think, like 1.7. And I was trying to think of what other Black person, on this platform, because even some of the greats, like I can see YouTube shows me analytics of what you all watch. So I know that a lot of people who watch my channel watch like Pink Book Lessons and O'Shea Duke. And I'm also subscribed to their channels as well. And they have really massive followings, right? But they don't have 1 million. Candace Owens has almost 2 million, but she also has she's backed by, she has a whole nother backing, right? Like she's, So I guess I want to highlight this because I want us to understand how rare how incredibly rare it was for a Black man. Okay, like we're not talking about, I mean, to my knowledge, Kevin Samuels was not a celebrity. He was a regular Black man, an image consultant. For him to gain that many subscribers and 1.4 million, my stats might be off here, but how many millions of, I mean, that's like a big portion of like the United States Black population. I think we're 13, 14 million. I don't know, but please comment in the chat. But anyway, so I wanted to know that how incredibly rare. I'm going to skip over some of these stats because there might be going too in depth here, and I'll be with you guys in the comments shortly. So there's over 50, just to give you a global perspective here, there's over 50 million YouTube channels that upload a month. So there's actually 100 million channels that exist worldwide on YouTube, 100 million, right? But only 50 million of them are like uploading. So not everybody who obviously has a channel uploads videos. But here's another statistic. There's only, so mind you, 50 million worldwide uploading on YouTube. There's only 3 million channels in the YouTube partner program, right? So to be in the YouTube partner program, you need to have over 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, so I'm in the partner program, only 3 million. That is a very small percentage. Okay. And then there's less than 500,000 channels that have over 100K subscribers. So, right. So we're seeing that. So now we're getting down to like, so essentially, I mean, again, I'm trying to put it in your mind how rare this is that Kevin Samuels had so many people subscribe to his channel. Again, less than 500,000 channels have over 100,000 subscribers in the world. So out of the 50 million channels that's uploading to YouTube, less than 500,000 have of those channels have over 100,000 subscribers. Okay, and I'm, like I said, I'm gonna skip over some of these stats, but that again, so I don't know if you can understand here, but I'm gonna have a question for you all. Why do you guys think Kevin Samuels blew up the way he did? Why do you think he was so successful on YouTube? What he did was incredibly rare. That was the whole point of me naming all those statistics, is for you to know that what he did to gain that many subscribers and to have that many people watching his videos, mostly who are Black people, right? Mostly, you know, the majority of his viewers, I'm sure, were Black people worldwide, not even just in the United States. He had people calling in from the Caribbean. You know, I used to watch his show. He had people calling in from all over the world. Why do you think Kevin Samuels was so successful on YouTube? All right, let me back up here. All right, so Alex, hi Alex. You attract more males than females because you speak from a perspective that requires accountability. Wow, thank you. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. And again, I think a lot of that comes from having, I think it's really important to have Black men in your life who you love and respect, right? Because when you have those type, when you have like that is going to hold you accountable. You know, if you have a man in your life who you love and respect and he's giving you feedback or, you know, whatever it is, critiquing you or, you know, whatever it is, or even giving you positive feedback, you're going to have a different sense of accountability. So Alex, I appreciate that. And then Riddick is saying, yeah, 100. Is it I'm like horrible with these names. CVC Sive? I don't know. Please, I apologize. Please spell out your name for me in the chat. I support this channel 100%, and we need to have more conversations. Mental illness that are afflicting Black women in America, I think it's overlooked a lot. Bipolar depression, absolutely. And that is definitely something that no problem for the typos. That's something that I absolutely, especially in the beginning, and I need to make more videos about mental health, but I'm really big on that for sure. Charles, one business in America and one business in Africa. What do you mean by that, Charles? And I'm sorry, Like I said, I'm probably reading some of these totally out of context. Gino, most of what Kevin Samuels said, my uncles and older males in my family said the same thing. Kevin Samuels said what we talked about in the barbershops. Ooh, oh, see, now I love that. I love that. Yeah. And to be honest with you, that's why I watched his show, Gino, is because like I said, I mean, some of this stuff was hard to hear. I ain't gonna lie, especially when he started talking about women who are older and, you know, and the whole rating system. I mean, it was hard to hear, right? And as a woman, you're just like, dang, like your whole life, you're socialized, especially as a Black woman, you're socialized to believe certain things. And when someone comes and tells you and informs you that you're not all that, or you know, whatever it is you thought, it's not easy to hear. But I like that you said that this is kind of what men have been kind of saying. They just haven't necessarily said it in a public platform. Thank you, Farouk, for the congrats. Gino, fresh and fit, albeit Black immigrants have over 1 million. Okay, that's a good point. Thank you for that. Now, did they come, Gino, did they come before Kevin Samuels, after, or around the same time? Practical Fitness, I wanted to bookmark the name of the video you posted. Oh, okay. Thank you for that, Practical Fitness. Charles, Candace has a white backing. Yes, she does. That's very true. So that's what I'm saying is, well, even though Candace almost has a big following, is not in comparison to Kevin Samuels, because she's doing something else. Yeah, and thank you. So I was right I said 14%, but you're saying 13. Oh, then you're saying 16, but in America, 38% of Black pregnancies are ooh, oh, yikes. That's very sad. Okay, hold on here. I'm gonna miss anybody. Oh, hi, Kiki. I'm gonna kind of skip down to hello, Prophet Mother. I like to start a channel to help people have better relationships, but just not sure where to start. Well, feel free, Prophet Mother, to contact me. I help people get started on YouTube, so would love to connect with you. And I'm gonna skip down here to someone new. I'm gonna say your name wrong. Is it Bulleye? I always believe that most women miss the blessings of Kevin Samuels. He was simply giving women the cheat codes to men. Absolutely. He was simply articulating what most men say and feel behind closed doors. Thank you for that. Yes. And I kind of realized that, which is why I was like, I was always conflicted watching him, because I was like, on the one hand, I probably shouldn't be watching this because I'm giving him watch time. But then I would be like, I can't turn it off. I'm like, this is so juicy. And because it was so many Black women, it actually kind of gave me a window into how a lot of Black women feel and think. And like, obviously I'm a Black woman, so, but then I would be like, I'm like, oh, this is so juicy, but then I'm giving him watch time and I probably shouldn't support this. But man, I'm learning so much about men. So yeah, I agree. I definitely it was a time. Definitely a time. Okay, so let me pick up here. Okay, so Kevin Samuels, I think we kind of know that Kevin Samuels was in like literally the top. So I'm in the top 10%. I have 10,000 subscribers, which is great. Kevin Samuels was in the top 1% or probably less than that in terms of his success on YouTube, right? So I don't know if people stopped and paused and ever really thought about that, but I want to give credit where credit is due. And I think he was a one-man show. I think he was doing everything, which, like I said, you guys, this is a lot. Like I told you last week, I had a little technical difficulties. You as a YouTuber, you're going to be doing your own makeup, your own hair, your own lighting, your own script, right? Like everything. Unless you have like a moderator, somebody working for you, but he was doing all of that. And I sometimes I wonder if that contributed to the stress, which potentially contributed to, ultimately his heart attack. I don't know. It's just speculation, but so I want to talk a little bit about because ultimately where I want this to head is, I always say Black YouTube. I don't know if a lot of people, I know people always talk about Black Twitter. I think there's a Black YouTube. I really do. And like I said, I'm subscribed to O'Shea Duke. I'm subscribed to Pink Book Lessons, but I'm also subscribed to like Kimberly Nicole Foster, which I know a lot of, she's on the other end, but I'm one of those people that I like to have well-rounded content. I like to know what's going on both sides. But one of the things about Kevin Samuels that, like I said, as someone who's now doing this, he established a particular voice and authority, which is something that now I look at and I respect that. He had very polarizing views, but he stood up for what he believed. He wasn't like a chameleon and, that type of thing. He wasn't afraid to talk about taboo topics. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that part. Like I said, I didn't agree with everything he said, but one thing you have to respect the person. And I'll even say this about Candace Owens. I have a lot of respect for people who stand on what they believe in. Even if I don't believe that same thing, even if I have a difference of opinion, I have respect for people who have a viewpoint and they stand on it, who are not afraid to be an authority for what they're talking about, right? How can you not respect that? So yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live, is to sort of bring out that point that, Kevin Samuels established something, on YouTube that I don't think had ever been established. Comment below if there's anyone on this platform who you guys think created a similar, like I know Gino mentioned Fresh and Fit. Who else, with that large of a platform? So who else on YouTube with over 1 million subscribers, Black person, created the kind of community that Kevin Samuels did? Maybe there's somebody else and I don't know who they are, but I've been on YouTube for a long time, so I would be shocked to know. So I'm going to get to the comments here shortly. Real quick, going to pause and thank you for liking this video. Please like it if you're in here. Again, I'll be live next Thursday at 7, talking about Black women in our bodies. Don't hesitate to cash at me or drop a super chat or a super sticker and donate to my channel. Go to my website, nakonolifer.com. Drop your email in the bottom of the page there where it says join my community so we can connect off YouTube. And let me get to this chat here. All right, let me back up a little bit. Charles is saying one business in America to make plenty of money and one business in Africa to make plenty of money. Make a second business in Africa to move to Africa permanently. Charles, is that your plan? Gino is saying Kevin Samuels' hard delivery and harsh truth actually turned women on. Interesting. Gino, you are just setting it off over here. Okay, so I'm a comment on that. I will say, and again, this is coming from someone who has a Black man. I have a Black man in my life, several Black men in my life who I love and respect. I do think that there's some truth to that. I think that, to my point about respecting people who, kind of stand on what they believe in, Kevin Samuels had a way of like checking women, right? But I think most women, if we're honest, will admit that we like that. To a point, obviously not any violence involved, or I'm not talking about domestic violence, but I'm talking about we like and respect men who stand up for what they believe in and who are not afraid to check us in a way, right? And he would do that. And you're right, Gino, because if women hated it, why were so many of them lining up to call him? Why, you know what I mean? Like if women hated it that much, I mean, there would be women coming on his show was like, oh, I've been trying to get through for 2 weeks, like every day, every night, or I don't know how often he did his show, but every time they would be in the waiting room, just waiting. So Gino, that's such a good point, is that in some ways, the way Kevin Samuels was, it spoke to women, as much as women try to say they didn't like him, but you're in line waiting for him, waiting to ask him a question. Right. And as much you can say that, oh, he was mean to me and he talked down to me and this and that. OK, fine. But you're calling, some of those women were on his show multiple times. You keep coming back for more. Why? So there must be something psychologically that you enjoy, right? So Gino, that's good. Quine, I didn't care much for what the man said, for there was certain things he said, the tone of voice, and he said something like, I heard toxic things out of his mouth, and his wounded being, he spoke from his point of view. Okay. Yeah. And like I said, I have my criticisms, which I'm reserving for this live. Let me skip down here. Alex is saying, that was for someone else. Oh, hi, son from Brooklyn. Yes, Sharad Ali wrote and said the same things. Absolutely. Since 1989. That's true. Yeah, I heard about, like you said, him drinking the Red Bulls and all that could have contributed. Charles, Nika, do you date outside the race, a divester? No. So thank you for asking that, Charles. I am not a divester. I am engaged to a very Black man. CB Civ, I'm 34, married with just 1 year old. When I tell you I lost all of my friends, Kevin Samuels opened my eyes that modern women are damaging to progression of the rest of us. It hurts, but I won't waver. Wow. So, okay, so you're married with just one. Okay. So is it that you feel, this is for Civvy Civ, if I'm saying that right? Do you feel as though your friends, your single friends, kind of don't understand what you're going through as a married woman with a family? Would love to hear more about that. Freedom Wife. Yes, thank you. Like the video. Let's see here. Okay. And then, yeah, I see, Gino, I see your comments here. Thank you. All right. So I'll be coming back to the comments. Don't worry. I do appreciate this conversation. And thank you guys for coming to talk with me about it. So yeah, this is actually to the point I was just kind of making, what Gina was saying, is that I think, because I thought about this and I'm like, why were so many Black women lining up to talk to Kevin Samuels? Again, this is not, I don't think he had he wasn't a licensed therapist, why, you know what I mean? Like, why were they lining up? And I think the conclusion that I come to from watching so many of his videos is that many Black women are looking for guidance. Many Black women are looking for guidance. Now, I know this is going to sound, and some of y'all are like, oh, you're a pick me and whatever, but it's true. And, this could be especially if you didn't grow up with a father, or if you didn't grow up with a strong Black man in your life. Right? Like, many Black women were raised by women. Many of us, were raised by women, and we were around women most of the time. And we know Black women like the back of our hand, right? But we don't know men. I shared in my last live that I really started to understand men at 38 years old. That's crazy. I went most of my life not understanding men, having really no deep concept of the opposite gender. And I think that Kevin Samuels, and again, this is sort of going into the psyche, because I don't think any Black woman would ever admit this, but I think for some Black women, Kevin Samuels might have represented kind of like the father figure they never had. It's kind of like he was harsh, it hurt, but they needed it, because they kept coming back for more. Why else would you keep coming back? Clearly you must need this, or not even me. Why did I keep watching his show? As much as I was like, oh, I don't know if I don't know about this. And he said this about plus size women, and he said this about single moms, but I kept tuning in. I never unsubscribed. Why? Right? So you have to really think about that. And I think even me, if I'm honest, I was also looking for guidance to a point. I was looking to understand men. I was like, man, this gives me a window into something that I never understood. And although, like I said, I keep saying I'm reserving my criticism, I'll say this one little criticism is the fact that I never understood why didn't Kevin Samuels have, I know he was married before and I think he had a daughter, but why didn't he have some of the outcomes, in his own life as far as marriage that he would, because he was really pro-marriage, but he wasn't married, right? So that is the criticism that I did have, but yet and still he seemed like he knew the formula. And it was really, some of his videos exposed some of the first times that I had ever even heard that I didn't even know there was a formula. Like, I just thought like, yeah, I'm a modern woman. I got my degree. And, I was just thinking like every other Black woman, not realizing that there actually is a formula. And I got to test it out in real life. You guys probably saw my video about hitting the wall. I hit the wall, but, pivoted, met my fiance, and I was able to sort of see that Kevin Samuels was right about a lot of what he said. I got to test it out in real life. So I would not be sitting here before you if it was wrong. My outcomes would be different. But because of my outcomes and kind of connecting that back to some of those videos I watched, I'm like, oh, yeah, he's right. So all right, let me pause and see what you guys are saying here. Hi, Philly Kid 512. You're saying, hello, it's almost impossible to have a conversation with some women without them feeling attacked. And I believe that is where his message was lost. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to hear. I can tell you it's hard to hear. But see, the problem, one of the reasons why I created my channel is to make the invisible visible to the modern Black woman is because I recognized that there were a lot of things that Black women were not talking about. Like critical things that could impact our entire trajectory of our lives. We were not even talking about. We were not even addressing. So that is very true, Philly Kid. Gino is saying true guidance, entertainment, and also interact with him. That's true. Yes. Man, that was talk about entertainment, man. Like, I think that's literally, I used to watch like trashy like I used to watch Housewives of Atlanta and that type of, when I would watch Kevin Samuels any day over Atlanta Housewives because it was real, right? Like, it wasn't like this curated, reality, or it was real. These were real women. These were not, actors calling into his show. And Quine is saying, congrats to dodging all forms of evils, all humans who married or not married. Son from Brooklyn, the creator of the universe is to be defied, not women. Okay, I think I'm lost here. Charles, more Black women are becoming homeless more often while being the most educated. Yeah, facts. Very true. Son from Brooklyn, I like your channel, sis, because you want a dialogue between Black women and men. Thank you, Son from Brooklyn. And I do. I do. I really, I think that there's a lot of things that we sweep under the rug, and they're not going away. And Kevin Samuels actually exposed a lot of it on his, that's why I think his legacy is actually so important, especially if you want to be on YouTube yourself, or if you watch YouTube, right? Like, you have to sort of understand the need for what he was doing. And I'm not saying that somebody needs to come in and duplicate. I don't think it can be duplicated, to be honest with you. But now that he's gone, who is filling that void? Who is, sort of trying to help repair relationships between men and women? And like I said, I do think that, some of his formula was a bit cookie cutter. And like I said, I know I'm supposed to be reserving my criticisms, but I still think the way I look at it is that he attempted, did he fix everything for all Black people? No. Were there communities of Black people, especially Black women, who felt ostracized because they were plus size, because they were single moms, because they were over 40 and not married? Yes. But I think that he made an attempt. He was somebody who was trying, as opposed to the dominant narrative, which is not even addressing it. Like the average person won't even touch it. And so what I learned, kind of getting to the topic here, what I learned from Kevin Samuels, really, you guys, is like, with my content, obviously I make very different content to Kevin Samuels. I don't have a call-in show, and I probably won't ever have that because that seems very stressful. But what I learned is that, you know, I want to attempt to, there's certain, you would be surprised, there's certain topics that no one has made a video about. There's certain subjects that nobody can really explain. And it blows my mind. And so sometimes when I think about, like, okay, what is my next video going to be about? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that because people might think this. I actually think about Kevin Samuels. And I'm like, Kevin Samuels wasn't afraid to push the envelope. He wasn't afraid to be polarizing. He wasn't afraid to stand on what he believed in, regardless of who liked it or not. That is how he grew to over 1 million subscribers. Now, do I, you know, is that my goal? No, that says, I mean, I would love to have 1 million subscribers. That's not even my goal. But my point is, I believe that somebody needs, oh, thank you, Alex. That's like literally my first ever super chat. So thank you so much. I'm so excited. I believe that somebody needs to make the attempt. Somebody needs to take a stab at it. And I have to really sit back and ask myself, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the kind of person that status quo, that just goes with, you know, oh, everybody's, you know, because women are constantly calling me a pick-me, you know, in the comments. Are you going to be afraid because somebody's going to call you a pick-me? Are you going to be afraid even to do this? To be honest with you, to do this live stream, I was hesitant because I was like, people might say I'm a chameleon because I've had criticisms for Kevin in the past. But it's like, you know what? No, I'm just going to be me. And I'm just going to, you know, make an attempt to shift people's thinking, make an attempt to make videos that no one has made before. You know, my next video, spoiler here, is going to be about twerking. Why do so many Black women twerk? I haven't seen that video. Let me comment below if you know of a video out here about why Black women twerk. I haven't seen that. So I'm going to make that video. But one of the things that encouraged me to do that is Kevin Samuels' legacy, is because, like I said, all criticisms aside, he was someone that was not afraid to be polarizing. He was someone, he had so many Black women hated him. He kept pushing, right? And what he did is he fixated on the people who understood him and who knew what he was doing. Right now, people can say that, oh, well, he was doing a lot of the things that he did for clicks and views. And that's something that, as a content creator, you're going to get. People are going to accuse you for doing things for clicks and views. Oh, you just want clicks and views. You just want clicks. Here's the thing. There's something called listening to your audience. So this is where people get confused. Yes, I mean, do you want clicks? Do you want views? Obviously you do. Are you going to, you know, I wouldn't, from watching Kevin Samuels videos, I don't really feel like, I mean, I don't know. It's a slippery slope. Because on the one hand, you can say like the average at best video, which is, I think, what made him blow up. You know, some people can argue and say, well, you know, he spoke to her like that and he was so negative and so mean to her and he just did all that so he can go viral. And that's, you know, and I can see that. But then on the flip side, he actually talked to a lot of women like that. You know what I mean? He was talking to women like that before. So it was like, I don't really know if he was doing that, saying it like that to go viral. But I think he understood that he was listening to his audience. And what does that mean? That means that when people give you feedback, so anytime somebody clicks subscribe to my video, or not to my video, subscribe to my channel, when they hit subscribe, whatever video made them subscribe, that's essentially them saying they want more. If you're watching my video about, you know, what was one of my last videos, why do Black women want a big butt, and you hit subscribe, you're usually doing that because you probably want to see more content like that. So Kevin Samuels understood that. And so he essentially understood his audience and understood the need for the type of content he was making. And again, he had so many women lined up willing to give him the content. So I struggle with that. I struggle with, well, did he blow up because he was just so controversial, because he was just speaking so mean to women? Or was he actually being a voice for so many men, like Gino said, in the barbershop, who talk about these things and are frustrated by these things, but have no outlet to share? And finally, because he had the platform, he was able to say this stuff and have the whole world hear him. And I think that is one of the ongoing debates about YouTubers is, a lot of times people will get accused of doing things for clout. But thank you so much. And the sad part is I'm still not saying your name right, but Riddick J16. Thank you. I appreciate you. People will get accused of doing things for clout. But again, like someone could say that I you're making a video about Kevin. Somebody actually, I think, accused me of that in my community, saying, oh, well, what did he say? Something about I'm doing this because of, what word did he use? He didn't say clout, but I forgot the word. But bottom line is, but I'm also listening to my audience, because I know a lot of people who are subscribed to my channel, they watch O'Shea Duke, right? They watch Red Pill content, Manosphere content. And again, I don't know how I got here, but I'm going to be real, right? But I'm going to also make content for the people who support my platform. So that's a little inside scoop to how YouTube works. All right, let me come back here and see what's going on here in the chat. Charles, Black men need to unite and build an economic power, political power, military power, and self-determination. I heard that. Gino is saying that's called growth. Oh yes, I'm subscribed. I am subscribed, to Ches Charday. Oh, she talks about twerking. Gino, if there's any way you can put that video, well, I can go on her channel, but I would love to see her video about it as well. Hi, username password. Thank you for being here. I know you were here last week. The Jezebel spirit causes twerking. Simple. Okay, so that means I don't need to make a video about. I'm still making my video. Charles is saying Black men need to unite and build an. Sorry, I think I'm rereading the same comment. Son from Brooklyn. A lot of Black people did not like Malcolm X in the 1960s. Now he got a stamp. Bam. Bingo. Think on that. That is so true. So true. Okay, I see you wrote that in the chat. Okay. Oh, hi, Julia. Thanks for joining. Then maybe we need a female Kevin Samuels without the cruelty. I could not get with his channel because of that. We can learn, but don't need the bashing. You might be perfect for that. Oh, thank you, Julia. Yeah, and I agree. And like I said, yes, there was some bashing there. There was some, and I don't do that. That's not, what I do. But yes, that would be a big feat for me to be the female Kevin Samuels. Oh my goodness. And I think there's is it Kendra G or someone like that who's kind of like that. I see her as like a female Kevin Samuels, but she has a much smaller platform. I think she has like less than 200,000 subscribers, which is still amazing. I'm not trying to say that 200,000 subscribers is small, but again, I want us to keep in mind 1.4 million, you guys. That's a huge platform. All right. Keep moving here. Thank you for all the likes. Again, for those of you who weren't here earlier, I'll be here Thursday at 7 talking about body trends. One of my favorite topics. Most of you guys came to me for many of my videos about Black women in our bodies. And so I'm going to be talking about that next week at 7. Again, donate to my channel, super chat, super sticker, or Cash App, Naka Onilifor. go to my website, put your email, the very bottom where it says join my community. I want to keep up with you off of YouTube and on YouTube. All right, so I think this point here I have about, yeah. So, okay. So you guys know my thing is making the invisible visible, or just generally speaking, I am the invisible Black woman. And that was kind of more my last live stream that I did. So check that out if you didn't see that. But there's a way in which I feel like Kevin Samuels, this might sound a little extreme, but something tells me that women were lined up to talk to him because somehow they felt seen. Somehow Kevin Samuels had a way of seeing them. I know this sounds weird because it's like, well, he was so mean. He was so, so harsh. But, and I can't say this is in every case, but I think that there was a way that, he saw them. And I can say this as someone who, as a modern Black woman myself, educated modern Black woman. One of the things I used to always say when I met my fiance is I felt seen, and to have a relationship, any relationship, especially with a masculine man as a modern woman, it's not easy. There are women who have entire channels. I don't know if you guys know who Sarah Lena is. She is a woman, a Black woman who has an entire channel, hundreds, thousands of videos helping modern Black women navigate relationships with masculine Black men. This is how complicated this stuff is. So I understand, like, women who struggle with relationships, getting in a relationship, keeping a relationship, getting married. I get it because it's not easy. Everything you learn as an educated modern woman, everything you learn almost everything goes against the principles that you need to have inside of a relationship, or especially inside of, a marriage and that type of thing. So my point here is that, I think that women, like I said before, women highly respect men who see them, who really, and see, being seen is not about people necessarily coddling you and being nice to you all the time and giving you, I mean, that's great. Men giving you compliments, that's awesome. Women, we like compliments. We want men to see us in that way, obviously. But when I'm saying seen, I'm talking about on a deeper level. I'm talking about, sorry, I froze. I'm talking about the depths of you, like someone seeing you and even saying, they might even give you some feedback that hurts, but because they see you and they love you and they want you to be better. I'm not saying Kevin Samuels loved, all the Black women that call the show, but what I'm saying is, if you have had this experience in your real life of having the opportunity to get to know a Black man who really sees you and who really cares about you, you'll realize that a lot of times that's going to come with criticism. It's going to come with you having to be held accountable, with you having to humble yourself. And this is not me being a pick-me. This is me being honest. You have to, and on both sides, right? I'm not saying that men don't have to humble themselves, and no, on that side too. But right now I'm talking about women, and I'm talking about Black women. So my theory, and I'm willing to be wrong here, but my theory about Kevin Samuels is that I think a lot of those women who call his show, somehow they wanted to be seen. And they didn't just want to be seen visually on the screen. They wanted to be seen at a deeper level. And it hurt. Sometimes when somebody really sees you, they see your emotions, when they really see you, it can hurt. Women and people, think about all the things that we do to not be seen. Think about all of the facades that we put up, all the masks that we wear. Think about all of that. And I think Black women, we do this a lot. This is why I make videos and talk about, weaves and ridiculous lashes and nails that have all types of rocks and jewels. I mean, that's fine if you want to do that. But thank you, Civi Civvy Civ, Civy Civ. Thank you so much. That's fine if you want to do all of that. But are you trying not to be seen? Is that why you're doing that? Do you have a blonde wig on and sunglasses? Okay, and lashes out there, no one can even see your eyes because your lashes are covering up your entire eye. Are you doing all of that because you don't want anybody to see you? And I don't even mean just physically. The attitude, you not speaking to anybody, you not saying hi. I know Kevin Samuels talked a lot about that. He had an issue with Black women not saying hi, not smiling, that type of thing. Are you doing that so you won't be seen? When men try to come up to you, like I'm pretty much, I try to be friendly to everybody. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care what hey, I'm gonna say hi. But some women wouldn't even give someone like that. If you're a janitor, if you're somebody in the service industry, they won't even give you the time of day. They won't even look at you. Again, are you trying not to be seen emotionally? And when you're dealing with a man, especially who sees you, who really sees you, like sees past all the BS, it hurts. It can hurt. And it can be jarring, but it can also be liberating. That's the other part. There's something liberating about it. And I think, and I'm willing to be wrong, but I think that's why so many Black women were desperate to talk to Kevin Samuels. We're talking about women desperate. We're not, lined up for weeks. We're talking about Nicki Minaj lined up. Now she called in more like being critical and wanting, but Nicki Minaj, like I know you have better things to do than call Kevin Samuels. And there were some other celebrities. So again, we have to understand the impact of this and what he did for Black YouTube and Black America, but then globally. And some of the things like the rating system and the high value, a lot of these things are permeated into the culture, into Black culture worldwide. A lot of the terminology we're still using. And again, I want you to understand the magnitude that this was a regular man. This was not a celebrity. This was not someone who I don't believe anybody was coaching him. He just said the things that most people are afraid to say. And in that regard, I can relate to him. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Drop a link to her channel. Yes, please do. To her. Sarah Lena. Okay. I'll have to do that later, Alex. But yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about Sarah Lena. I'll try to do that before we get off. But you can just type Sarah. I think it's Sara and Lena, Lena. Really amazing content for Black women. But yeah. Gino, make titles and video thumbnails that get likes and subscribers. This is YouTube's a business. Successful creators do this. Unsuccessful creators don't listen to their patrons. That's very true. Is your fiance Black? If you care to say. Yes, he is Black. Username, password. Are you seen now? Yes, I do feel seen for the most part. I do. Prophet Mother, seeing past your facade, your defense, and being accepted anyway is powerful. 100%. Son from Brooklyn, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna kind of skip down to another son from Brooklyn. I love Kevin Samuels' content and message and desire to only be with Black women. Thank you for that. Because that's a whole nother community on this platform, right? Is the divestors. And I'll be honest with you, I don't watch that content. I'm not subscribed to any of those channels. I don't think. I understand it, but I'm like, I've only my entire life, I've only dated Black men. So I don't know anything about that. So feel free to, if you guys are a divestor, there's a divestor here, please identify yourself and explain why you have chosen to go that route and why you think that that's the best route. Oh, thank you, Danny. Appreciate you. Just saying thank you for helping the community. I appreciate you. That means so much. You guys are awesome. I do feel like I have the best community. Username password. Kevin had a Black daughter. He did see Black women. His heart was in the right place. Thank you, Danny. Dayton, the new turnoff for a man is a woman with a lot of tattoos. Oh, Lord. Charles, Alabama brawl is the birth of a Black nation. Oh, man. All right, let's see. All right, you guys are too funny. Yeah, okay, let's see what other. It's already 8:10. Oh, my goodness. Let's see what other. I want to make sure I get all my points out here. And if you guys have any questions for me, now is a good time to ask. I'm open to questions as well. All right, so now I want to move on to, I kind of talked about this, but is content as a resistance art? So and this is obvious, but I just want to say that, what Kevin Samuels did on YouTube is comparable to what musicians do in their music, right? Rappers. And I posted in the community about Fela. I went to see the show Fela Kuti. What Fela did in his music with so many, some of these rappers and people, I don't even know what the heck they're even talking about, but you know what I mean, the greats. So there's visual artists, there's, so Kevin Samuels wasn't an anomaly on YouTube, but what he did mirrors what many artists do. And the funny thing is, a lot of YouTubers actually consider ourselves like artists, or like our content is like our art. I don't know if you've heard that before. I don't know if Kevin Samuels would have agreed with that. I don't know if he saw his content as his art. I definitely see my content as my art. So it is my form of artistic expression. I'm a writer. So, and I'm one of those people that, as a creative person, I have to be creative in some way. Either I'm writing, I used to do African dance, or I'm dancing, or I'm making a video, but I have to get it out. I have to get my point across. I have to, if there's something I want to say, I'm going to say it. And like I said, and it's going to be said, whether it's said in a book, whether it's said in a newspaper, whether it's said on YouTube. And so, but I just want to highlight that again, Kevin Samuels, he just reminds me, you can even say, if you want to talk about politicians and activists and all that, there's people have a need and a desire. Art, you guys, art, and there's a value in not only just artistic expression, but just human expression. Like, there's people who feel like if I don't write, if I don't fulfill this need, this desire in me to sing, to dance or whatever it is, it's almost like they feel like they're dying inside. Like you have to have an outlet, otherwise you'll go crazy. So many content creators, we feel like that about our content, and so I want to also just highlight, that, YouTube, and like I said, you guys probably know this already, but I'm kind of bringing up some things that I don't think people think about often, that YouTube is, and like I said, it's the second largest search engine in the world, owned by Google. Google is number one. YouTube is number two worldwide. So people are constantly typing in the app different things. Some people are typing in, I don't know, they're typing in like, how do I, change a tire? Or how do I, do an oil change on my car? How do I install a window? But guess what? People are also typing in, why are so many Black women single? Why do Black women like having big butts? Why do they keep twerking? So again, I think I love YouTube for that reason, is that it is a place where you can go. And there are libraries upon libraries, again, content creators, libraries of information. And for Black YouTube, there's explanations. This is why Black people do this thing. This is why we, think this way. And Kevin Samuels, I think in the relationship department, if anyone ever wanted to know in 2000 and, whatever years he blew up, that was probably around pandemic time, you know, around the year 2020, what was the pulse of Black America? What were people thinking and feeling? They have a whole library of videos that they can watch sitting right there on YouTube for free, you know? And so I think that's incredibly powerful. And I want us to sort of just be mindful of that. You know, I just think that that's such a power that we all have. All of us can have a channel. Everyone actually has a channel. It's just a matter of if you're uploading videos or not. So the power there is that we all have the ability to get a message out. And whether you do it on YouTube, whether you write books, whether you talk to people, you play sports, or, you know, whatever it is. But I think that we all have something valuable to contribute and to say. And I want to encourage all of you, however your message gets across, that you don't let it die. And I think about that. I think about, like, if Kevin Samuels never existed, if he did, or maybe Kevin Samuels himself, say if he was like too afraid to get on camera, or he was just like, oh no, I don't want to, you know, imagine how that would have dramatically shifted and changed YouTube, but also just like the Black community. And by the way, I think the Black community is also the internet community. So when I talk about the Black community, I'm not just talking about the hood or whatever. I'm also talking about online, because we have strong, powerful communities online. So I think I'm kind of winding it down here. Yeah. I think I'm done with this. Like I said, I have a lot of points. I don't want to kind of ramble and stuff like that. But let me see what you guys are saying before I let you go. And I may have to real quick plug in my charger. Should have done that before I started. All right. Give me a little power here. All right. What are you guys saying here? Dayton, the new turn off for a man is a woman with, oh, I already read that. Okay, sorry. That's funny. All right, Charles, you better stick with your Black husband. Our race needs it. 100%. Italian Stallion, aka the gangster, sexy girl. Okay, thanks for the compliment. I don't know if that was for me, but I'm gonna just assume it was. Is it Huane? Seek the heavens for answers and cast away fears, worrying, anxieties, phobias, scattered mind. Okay, thank you for that. Danny, it's 30 of us on here and only 2 likes. Please like this. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. I'm seeing more than 2 likes, but thank you for that plug. I appreciate that. There's so much to learn. You will find much you learned in humans. Okay. You unlearn because they were misled. Oh, thank you, Italian Stallion. I appreciate that. All right. Well, you guys are amazing for sticking this out with me. Hopefully you understood, you know, where I was headed with this and why I thought it was important to use Kevin Samuels as an example. I think that there's a lot that we all can learn from his legacy. And like I said, you know, you don't have to agree with everything he spoke about. There's a lot of men who don't agree with everything, right? But they still respect what he did and the platform that he created. And his legacy lives on. Like I said, it's woven into Black YouTube. And so my hope is that my channel will continue to grow. And my hope is that one day somebody will be making a video about my legacy. And oh, that's what it was. The guy said I was using Kevin Samuels as leverage. My hope is that when I'm dead, that somebody will be using me as leverage. Like, I hope that people will say, there used to be someone on YouTube that made videos about this stuff. So yeah, thank you, username, password. Thank you, Gino. Shout out to everybody on here. So again, I'm gonna remind y'all again, it's gonna be juicy next week. body trends. You guys know I love talking about bodies and what Black women are doing with their bodies, what they're not doing with their bodies. So if you guys want to know more, oh, hi, Jazz. My good friend Jasmine is on here. I'll remember you. Thank you. Please remember my legacy. Yeah, so come next week, 7 p.m. right here. And again, if you didn't get a chance to go to my website, nakeoonolifor.com, scroll down to the bottom, put your email, join my community, because y'all, people's channels get hacked. All types of crazy stuff can happen on YouTube. And I'll be devastated to lose all of my, I mean, I think YouTube can kind of restore it, but a lot of people say when their channel gets hacked, and even when YouTube restores it, it may not be the same, like the same level of activity. So again, I'm being proactive. I want as many people as possible. If you want to be invited to any of my events, virtual or in person, go to my website, nakeoonolifor.com, put your email there so I can keep up with you off YouTube and on. And again, thanks so much for coming tonight. And I will see you next week at 7 p.m. And stay tuned for my twerking video. I will not be twerking in the video, but the video will be about why Black women like to twerk. So, all right. Don't forget twerking. All right. Bye, you guys. Have a good night.